Today on Let's Talk Movies, Marvel decides to keep Deadpool rated R after they acquire Fox, and we got a new look at Black Canary in the new Birds of Prey movie. Let's get right into this right now. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Movies. My name is Joker, alongside my partner in crime, Splash. That's all? That's all we get?
Yep,
okay, cool. So we've got a couple topics to talk about today. The first one is that we're going to be talking about Marvel acquiring Fox finally and keeping Deadpool rated R. And we got some new looks at the new Black Canary for the Birds of Prey movie.
For Birds of Prey, yeah.
We're going to be looking through that. We're going to be seeing what we think and which one it is. Let's start from the top. We've got Marvel stuff to talk about. Okay. So we've had several reports now that Marvel has decided to, once they acquire Fox, if that deal is still going on, that they're going to keep Deadpool rated R, and any sequels coming from it, they're going to keep it rated R, because apparently Once Upon a Deadpool just did not perform as well as they thought. Making a PG-13 version of Deadpool 2, I thought was a complete catastrophe from the start. Have not seen it, don't want to see it. I have no reason to want to watch that movie.
The only drive behind that movie, and the reason that I was in support of it, is because all of the funds that it made, they were donating part of that to, was it cancer research for Fuck Cancer, I think is what they were doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that kind of put a little more encouragement for people to go out, experiment, watch the movie, even if you've already seen it, watch the new cut, support a good cause, completely behind that. But ultimately, I think it only made like, what, $6 million or something like that. It was super low.
On top of the original sales from Deadpool 2, it only made about $6 million, which, I mean, I guess, that proceeds towards the Fuck Cancer cause, which is fantastic, but it probably could have performed a lot better, but I just don't think people understood that. So when they just came out with Once Upon a Deadpool, it was just a recast of the original Deadpool 2 to be PG-13. Everyone was just like, you don't do that to Deadpool, but you did. But with that said, that means that any other sequels coming from it, depending on if they keep X-Force and they keep Deadpool 3, because while those they haven't been filmed yet, and assuming when Disney acquires Fox, if they have not decided to cut those, they're going to keep it rated R. And they also said it's going to be open to the ideas of other Marvel R-rated films, which would be great because apparently, because Bob Iger was talking about it, and he said that he didn't want to confuse the consumer with having, PG-13 and R ratings, especially, he said with other films too, like Alien, since they are acquiring Fox. Mm-hmm. So they want to keep it all where it's supposed to be. And he said he'd be open to the idea of having more rated R films so you could have more, mutant crossovers with Deadpool and keep that rated R feel so the characters are true to what they're supposed to be. And I think that's the way to go. Yeah, it's Disney. Yeah, it's family oriented. But, I mean, Disney's put out rated R films before under, like, other companies' names, So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
I think we're heading into a test period with Black Widow is supposedly going to be rated R as well.
That would be awesome.
So I think we get a little bit of a test drive period with that movie to see if rated R can work, because surely that's going to be coming along before Deadpool enters this new world that Marvel's going into by bringing in these other assets. Also, those movies that you were talking about, X-Force, we did hear that those are on hold currently until the Marvel switchover... Oh, hit the mic. Those are on hold currently until the Marvel switchover happens, so we'll just have to wait and see exactly what that looks like, because I do think that you're right. R-rated can work in Marvel, you just have to brand it very carefully. Deadpool has taken care of that for itself. Their team did a very good job of saying, this is what you're coming to expect from this movie. The fans knew that, outside audiences probably didn't, so the advertising, the marketing, pretty good idea to go ahead and establish yourself as a different kind of movie, because it definitely doesn't look like anything we've got in the current MCU.
Right, and I mean, that's the case in a lot of these things. Deadpool is a character that was created as like a very R, sometimes even X-rated character, and you see that in the comics, you see that in the video game that came out before, like only like 2 or 3 years before the movie came out, and of course, because of the humor behind Deadpool, they did a lot of false advertising for it. Like, there was, like, a lot of them saying, like, it was supposed to be, like, a love story because it came out on Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. And, like, everyone was just like, oh, it's a superhero movie. And people were pissed off when they took their kids to go see it. And then they left 15 minutes in because it turned into, a soft core scene for about 20 minutes of the movie. But that's who the character is. And I understand, now thinking back on it, I understand why people could be mad about that. Why is this rated R? This is a superhero movie. But, it's not always that way. I mean, you really want to look into a lot of comic books were not necessarily for kids just because of some of the actions that happened. I mean, you literally have universes where, like, in, like, DC, where Batman literally kills everyone. And then again, in Marvel, where Deadpool literally wipes out the entirety of the Marvel universe as a whole. Some of this stuff is just not supposed to be like happy-go-lucky, you know, save the day kind of thing. Sometimes it just turns out to be gruesome, and we saw that with Logan, and Logan wasn't even rated R. At least I don't think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
All right, I'm dumb. Logan was rated R.
It was a guaranteed rated R. But that was part of Marvel's renaissance. That's part of the reason that they're still here today. With Stan Lee coming back into it, I think he said it was around the late 50s, early 60s when he really felt the pressure to start bringing adult problems to these stories that people had majorly looked at as kids' stories and experience for younger people. Once he started making them feel more like humans and less superhumans, you know, bringing everyday world problems to them, it started to mature a little bit. And now we're finally getting into that era in the movies because we've seen a lot of fluff. We've seen a lot of happy stories. We've seen a lot of family-friendly content. Deadpool was really the first
We saw
breach.
Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds and thought, no.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of not-so-great stuff as well. But now we're finally getting to experience a whole new world. Maybe this leads us into Justice League Dark or something like that.
That's supposedly the title of the next one. They're supposedly going to call that Justice League Dark, but that remains to be seen depending on how well Warner does with all that.
Yeah, so DC definitely has a lot more to play with on the dark side of stuff, pun intended.
Aha.
Now, with Marvel, it'll be interesting to see how they do handle 1, 2, or even 3 properties, depending on who they bring forth out of their history to the big screen. I'm excited for it. I think there's an opportunity for it to succeed. And yeah, I just can't wait, man. I'm on this ride that Marvel's brought us on.
Dark Claw, Dark Claw, Dark Claw. But overall, I do think it's actually more important for Marvel to take that more seriously in that darker, more realistic, real-world side. Not just, you know, save the day, like kind of like, you know, the early Spider-Man stuff is. So, you know, because there is just a lot of dark stuff to it. So I actually absolutely think this is the right way to go. And if they keep it rated R and they do it right, I think they're going to have a complete powerhouse on top of the powerhouse that they already have, that is the MCU.
I think if we could have seen a little bit more out of the Fox realm, these movies that aren't probably coming out or are being shelved, at least for now, in the Marvel transition, with New Mutants coming along, even though it's had some troubled production history, I think that could have been a good first step to see if people are going to respond to a darker, more horror, not necessarily horror, but just a more gritty universe that's not the DC stuff that we've already seen, and that's not Old Man Logan inspired, which was great. It did amazing, and I love that film, but I think there's just even more room to play with, and the X-Men have plenty of that. Unfortunately, we may not even be seeing what's happening there, or with New Mutants' case, it may just be going straight to Hulu and be a complete dumpster fire.
I was going to say, because with the original trailer for New Mutants, I was like, it doesn't even seem like it's like a Marvel like X-Men style movie. It was just like, it just looks like one of those like sleep experiment movies. They're all just like locked in cells, and I was like, I don't even, what is this? It says New Mutants. I'm like, what the hell was that?
What did I just watch?
I was like, this looks like absolute dreaded horror. I mean, I'm here for it, but what is it? But on top of things talking about being new, not necessarily mutants, but on the DC side of things, we finally got a closer look at the new Black Canary that's going to be in the Birds of Prey movie coming out in the summer of 2020. And so from the pictures that are on the screen right now, we can kind of see she has sort of, I guess it's just a straight urban look, so I don't know if this is actually the costume she's supposed to be wearing, because obviously, you know, there's no mask, there's no costume aesthetic to it. It just looks like normal streetwear, even though, you know, in this universe, normal streetwear is very provocative, as we can see, and as we've seen with Harley Quinn. So I'm not sure exactly which Black Canary this is supposed to be. I'm assuming it's supposed to be Dinah Drake. Would you happen to know?
I don't know right offhand, but what we've seen,
I don't think they've actually announced like her actual like which one she's doing. They just said it's Black Canary. So
yeah, I would assume it's some version of Dinah Drake or Dinah Lance, depending on which one they're like. They're all kind of similar, so they're pulling from a few different things, I would expect. That's how the rest of the universe has been. It hasn't just been one straight storyline where these characters are coming from. So if this is connected to our regular DC EU or whatever we're calling it, I don't really know what to expect with this character, but she looks the part, and I don't have any reason to worry about this movie or this character, so that's good.
I mean, you know, I like the look of it so far. Like, I love how her hair is like done, how she's got like part of it like braided, and then the rest of it's just like flowing to the side. It doesn't look bad. I mean, if it's just like her standard like streetwear, like we said, like we haven't seen costume yet, so. But I mean, even if that is the costume, I mean, I guess there's more to it that we're not seeing, because she's out in broad daylight, so obviously it's completely out of context. There's no really way to know. But I mean, overall, I'm fine with the look for right now. Obviously, you know, we'll probably get more of these set leaks as it gets farther into production. So, yeah, great. I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, combined with the teaser that we reacted to, was it last week?
Last week ago, something like that.
Something like
Give
that.
or take.
The few little brief character shots that we got in that teaser, these photos, more stuff to be coming along. Everything looks to be shaping up pretty well for this movie. They're on a pretty good hot streak, DC is right now, I would think.
I'd hope so. I really want them to. I'm tired of everyone just like talking shit about DC for the sake of just talking shit. And I'm just like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Aquaman hit it out of the park, though. Did get a little bit confusing critics-wise. Heard some people loved it, heard some people didn't. Okay, but financially, did amazing. Puts DC right back on track to get to work. Shazam doesn't look like it should be having any problems. Everything looks to be...
You need that other trailer, though.
Par for the course on that movie. I am waiting for a new trailer.
Gotta react
That's
to that.
necessary. And yeah, of course, we'll be on top of that whenever it comes.
I'll be on top of that. I'll be racing home. I'll be leaving class early for that. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be home later. I gotta skip class. Trailer came out. Gotta watch it.
Sorry.
But that'll be all for this video, guys. Tell us in the comments down below what you think of Marvel keeping R-rated films from here on out, and what do you think of the new Birds of Prey Black Canary photos we've seen. So far, I'm liking everything I'm seeing. I'm pretty sure Splash is feeling the same.
Oh,
yeah?
absolutely.
Yeah?
I'm on the hype train. I'm here for it.
We're
Bring
all
me
on
along.
board for DC to fix what they've done in the past. But that'll be all for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments down below if you would like to see more of Let's Talk Movies, or if you'd like to see anything else. But until then, and as always, we will see you guys next time. Poor Mike. It was so young.
It didn't deserve this.